Hey guys, what's going on? This is Andrew here today, and I'm basically just going to be showing you guys me basically just taking apart some of my Guitar Hero controllers and fixing them up. So first off, I'm just going to talk about the tools that we're using. This one is stupid, but it's a glass of water. I simply use these to put the frets in. And I have two different washcloths considering that I ran out of Q-tips. And so I have one that's going to be for rubbing alcohol and one that is actually just going to be for general cleaning with water. And on top of that, to open up the guitars, I have my screwdriver set right here. So I'm going to need a Phillips head and a Torx head security screwdriver to open up these guitars. So basically, I'm working on the Les Paul that I got. I'm working on the Guitar Hero 5 guitar that I got. And I'm working on the World Tour guitar that I got. And on top of that, I'm actually using the neck from one of my World Tour guitars, and I'm basically customizing the frets of this one so that it can feel a bit nicer. I don't like yellow frets. A majority of people don't because it has a little line down the middle, unlike the other one. So when playing certain patterns on it, it can get annoying with there. I don't like using this yellow button, so we're gonna basically just take one of the buttons from one of the other guitars and just stick it in there. I don't really care which one, as long as it's, you know, me not having to use the yellow button. So for this guitar, this has a strumming problem. We're just simply going to go in there, clean it up, and bang it around a little bit and just hope that it fixes the overstrumming problem. We're not going to do anything crazy with the frets on this one, other than maybe some silicone. Or actually, no, we're not even going to work on the silicone on the frets for this one. We're just going to keep this one standard and have this as almost like a backup slash parts guitar while also having a working strum bar. For the Guitar Hero 5 guitar, the strum bar is already perfect, so we're really just going to do the silicone mod on this by cutting holes in the silicone for the frets to make them bouncier, so I can have this as another one of my main guitars to use, considering the strum bar is really good for accurate rake strumming, which is what I like to do on faster strumming sections. And lastly, for this guitar, we're simply just going to basically be using this neck to take out one of the special buttons, put it in the other neck, and put the other yellow button in this one, since this one will just be a backup guitar for if anybody I have comes over who doesn't want to use a really bouncy guitar. We'll be using this one since we're not doing the silicone mod on it, since I have certain friends that don't like the bouncy frets, some that do, and some that just like them where they feel like a normal Guitar Hero controller. So yeah, guys, I'm just going to show you guys me walking through it. Not really going to talk about much. You're just going to watch me do it all. All right, so let's get right into this. So first things first, I'm going to basically be interchanging the frets from this one onto this guitar. This one is for my main World Tour guitar that I use for Clone Hero. So we're going to basically just be interchanging right there. I have my Torx screw head on the screwdriver handy, and I also have the Phillips head for when I get inside the neck and have to take apart the part where I get to the frets. We're also going to do some general cleaning in the guitar as well, so let's get right into that, guys. Now you guys are just going to be seeing me speed right through this, so... Alright guys, so stuff happens when you least expect it. Basically, I accidentally knocked out one of the things while cleaning it, and this is crucial to using the Guitar Hero controller because this is what basically hits against the panel to detect your inputs. So luckily, I have another thing of silicone. This is from the other Guitar Hero controller that I was working on. So I'm actually going to be basically using the silicone from a backup guitar that I have that I'm never going to use, that is going to be put in this guitar, in the one that I'm using to customize the frets of the guitar that I use as my main guitar. So stuff happens. At least I have ones lying around, but it just goes to show that you got to be delicate when doing this kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm going to just basically do the silicone mod off camera real quick for this guitar, and we'll just basically get back to this in a second. So basically what I did, guys, was I extracted the silicone from the guitar that I know that I'm never going to use to basically just put it in the other Les Paul that I'm currently working on. Not doing any silicone mod on this one, and I'm going to be using the silicone from that Les Paul I'm working on to be used on my World Tour guitar, since I accidentally broke the silicone on that. So I did all the cleaning like I was doing it on before. I made sure I was more gentle with this one, and now we're just basically going to be doing what I was doing before. Unfortunately, we had to add an extra step. Thank God I had extra parts. I always recommend getting extra silicone if you can. You can find it on the used marketplace or even other places by searching around. So let's just get back to what I was doing. You're going to see this part sped up right here. Currently, we're going to be just putting back all the stuff in this guitar, swapping out one of the frets to take out that yellow button. Alright guys, so we basically just did the first step that I was looking to do, and that was interchange the buttons on my main Guitar Hero controller to basically get that yellow button out of there so it can be nice and slidey. The frets feel perfect, especially with that brand new silicone mod. I find that the silicone in the Les Pauls are better than the World Tour and GH5 guitars, so honestly putting the Les Paul one in there probably benefits me in a way compared to when I had the World Tour silicone in there anyway, but this one feels nice. And then obviously I just made it to where this had the normal silicone in it with just customized frets, and it is a little bit harder than if I were to have done the silicone mod, or at least a lot, or I should say a lot harder, but it's for people that will just want to play it without the craziness in the how bouncy the buttons can be. So now that we did that, basically my work on the first guitar I wanted to do is done, because all I'm going to do now is just simply slide this guitar in, and the strum bar is perfect, frets are just fine. I don't like the yellows, but I did this because this is a backup guitar anyway. This guitar is done with. Now what I'm going to basically do is work on the silicone mod for the Guitar Hero 5 guitar, because like I said before, this one has a really nice strum bar. I would like to use this as one of my secondary guitars for certain strumming sections since it's so accurate. So what I'm basically just going to be doing is the silicone mod on this one, keeping all the frets original just because I love the look of the Guitar Hero 5 guitar. So let's get into that right now. We're just gonna simply take this thing off the back by pulling that, take it right out, and yeah, now you're gonna see the speed up. Your frets should look something like this. So they're gonna have holes on the sides. The only things holding the frets should be this and this going on everything. It doesn't have to be 100% perfect, as long as you can physically feel that bounce when pressing them on the guitar, or I always test it on here. You should be perfectly fine. I always just double check it, make sure things are good. It doesn't matter if you do a little bit of a mistake and cut some part towards the middle. It's perfectly fine. You know, it doesn't have to be 100% perfect like I said, but it's always perfect to try to get that way. So let's just get back to putting this guitar back together. All right, guys. So this thing is perfectly put back together. No little gaps anywhere. It looks pretty good. Buttons feel really nice. This isn't going to be like my main tapping guitar, considering that I don't believe the pull rate of the Guitar Hero 5 guitars are as high as the Les Pauls and the World Tour guitars, but I could be wrong about that. I just noticed that I'm hitting a little less. Plus, inside the yellow button on this one, it definitely puts me at a slight disadvantage to how I like playing. Simply, we just slip the thing back in there, and from here, we are now basically 2 guitars and 1 neck down, with 1 more to go where we're just going to be working on the strum bar. So, strum bar feels great, frets feel great, frets on this one feel great, and everything on this guitar feels just fine. So, like I said, 2 guitars down, 1 neck down, and now 1 guitar to go, where we're going to be basically just focusing on the strum bar, trying to clean that up and just make sure everything's up and running. So when working on this guitar, first thing I usually do is just simply take the neck out, since we're not going to be focusing on it at all. And when talking about a guitar like this, I'm just going to take off the strap because we don't need it. It's going to be in the way. I do play with the strap. Some people don't. It's all in terms of preference, I guess. When looking at a guitar like this, it is important that you make sure that you be careful of the whammy bar when opening it up, because it is a pain in the ass to get back in. If I knock it out, I'm not working with it again. I'm just going to stick with it being out of place. I don't really care about the whammy as much. I don't really play for score like I used to, but when talking about a guitar, it is important to note that you're going to want to look for a missing, not missing, an area on the guitar where there is a sticker that's covering a screw, because it's hidden. It's meant for people to not go near it. But when opening up this guitar, we're going to want to take off the faceplate, which is a little bit of an annoyance. But basically what you do is you just simply unlock it with this thing in the back by pushing it. So it is now officially unlocked, and you just have to basically pry it open at this point, because it is a pain in the ass the first time around, considering that a guitar like this hasn't been fully opened before. So I'm just going to work on doing that. I usually start right on the front of the guitar. Okay, so I finally got to budge. It is a pain in the ass the first time around, but we can get it. And that exposes the body to where you're going to be taking apart this thing. So that screw I'm going to be talking about is going to be right under here. That's where you're basically just going to unscrew the thing. And basically, yeah, just that'll be one of the things that you need in order to take apart the guitar. When I initially took this apart for the first time, I was wondering why the thing wasn't coming apart. It turned out to be a screw. So yeah, guys, just like before, you're going to watch me just basically do the tear down in just fast motion, whatever you want to call it. Guys, with all the screws undone, it looks like now we can basically just pull the body right off of the thing, and you would think that the front of the guitar is what you focus on, but as it all turns out, it's the actually the front of the guitar. I don't know why I was saying that. The back of the guitar is what comes off. You just simply, I'm going to put that down there. And like I said before, you're going to want to focus on the strum bar, but make sure you stay away from touching that whammy bar. That goes out of place. It is a pain in the ass to get back on. So I'm going to do my best to avoid that by basically just using something to hold it up while I'm doing this. So I'm going to try to find something in here just to prop it up a little bit. Or in that case, I'm just going to use my hand since I have nothing. So we'll just be a little careful. I'm going to be mindful of that whammy bar. So yeah, let's get to this. Okay guys, with the thing back in place, I'm just going to basically put the guitar back together. Basically all I did was just use some compressed air to get some of the dusting out of there. You didn't really need to do that, so that's why I didn't really include it on the list, but I did that, and then I used some rubbing alcohol on this cloth just for me to do that right there. So yeah, let's get back to putting this together. Alright guys, so we now officially got this guitar back together, and we are now just going to be putting the faceplate back on the thing. Sometimes I don't keep it on, sometimes I do. So for this one, I'm simply just going to put it back on for the hell of it. I'm just going to line it up, and it should just slide and go back on there nicely. So. Just like that. We have ourselves a fully modded World Tour guitar that also has a slight bit of an overstrum that I was actually looking to kind of do down the line, but yeah, this guitar now should be perfect. It's nice and springy, which means that I should be able to do some pretty good rake strumming on this thing. So, recap. This guitar, we basically just worked on the strum bar, gave it a slight bit of an overstrum while also cleaning the inside of it and just making sure it was perfect. On this guitar right here, we simply just gave it the silicone mod to make the frets bouncier so that I can use this more often as a main guitar without feeling like I'm held back a ton. And lastly, we just made this a standard Guitar Hero controller, just simply using this guitar to interchange the buttons with my main guitar neck that I use on my World Tour guitar in my room, and basically just take away the yellow buttons so I can make it to where this guitar is much easier to do complex patterns on without being held back by that annoying yellow line. So this one being a normal Guitar Hero controller that we just did simple work on. So yeah, now that we got all that stuff put together, it's now time to just basically test them all on my PC. Anyway guys, there you have it. That is just how I went about fixing my guitars, and just to show that they all were working in the end, I basically just played all those clips for you right there using each and every one of the guitars that I worked with. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I can't really say this was too informative because I kind of just showed me tearing it down and doing my little process that I always do. But I gotta say, it was a lot of fun just tearing this down on video and just seeing what I can do with the guitars afterwards. My main guitars are always going to be my main guitars, so the other ones are always going to be extras. So for now, the Guitar Hero 5 guitar, my current main World Tour guitar, and my Wii guitar that was my original guitar, the Les Paul that I have somewhere in my room, is also going to be one of my mains. So everything else pretty much is just going to be side guitars for a little while. So yeah, I have some cool stuff. As you saw in this video, I got some clips from Supernovae, which is a song that Carney Jared is currently going for the full song FC of. I currently am just missing solo E and F. I have technically a tech FC of solo F because I've hit every section. Same goes for solo E. I've hit every section of the section. I just haven't gotten it in one run. So definitely looking to get every solo of Supernovae eventually myself. I do play and upload videos to another Guitar Hero channel where I participate in the community, but here, just my retro game stuff, I felt like just bringing some Guitar Hero stuff in here since it was still tech related. So anyway guys, that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed the teardown and the playthrough. I'll see you guys all in the next one.